Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience working at Google. If you don't know, I worked as a SWE summer intern, SWE or whatever you want to call it, at Google this summer. And I had a pretty good time. And so I thought I should share it because a few reasons, clickbait. Second is it was an interesting experience. And third is I wanted to contrast it with my previous experiences at codechef and sharechat, as well as talk a little about what role competitive programming played and what my development skills played. But before that, I just want to acknowledge that yes, I haven't been uploading any videos for a long time. And the reason is so I have a very interesting project idea, and but it is a pretty big project. So I was working on that. But I worked on it only a few days and then I started procrastinating on that and also on YouTube on pretty much everything. Okay. And I was also a little bit busy for with some other stuff, but yeah, essentially I procrastinated 12 days. So no apologies. Now, first of all, how did I actually got the internship? I've actually detailed that process in this video. Wherever it comes in the screen, you can check that out. And so that is covered in that video. Now, after I was selected and I had accepted my offer, I had a Google dashboard for me for the things that I had to do before my internship starts. So they had given me a bunch of tasks like get this document, get that document, and some background check. So I got all of those done before my internship would begin. And then the internship actually begins. And the first week or two is very chill at Google. Because, first of all, there's a lot of hassle of setting up your computer or device. So, I had a Chromebook. Now, obviously, I was very astonished when I got a Chromebook because in CodeChef and ShareChat, I had a MacBook Pro 2019, but in Google, of all places, I got a Chromebook. But later we'll see that it was actually not a bad thing. But yeah, I would have definitely preferred an M1 Pro from Google, 16-inch, right? I wouldn't have any complaints from that. But can't have everything, right? So in the first week, we are mostly trying to set up our uh, corporate what is it device and going through some mandatory trainings, some things related to developer workflow, and also we just kind of talk with our manager or our host and co-host. So we have two people assigned to us, host and co-host, who essentially caretake the children that are interns throughout the internship process. So we contact them, talk about stuff, maybe the project, maybe some random stuff. They give us some stuff to read about, and that's what mostly first and second week are. In my experience, what happened was my host was very proactive. I mean, I think I also showed proactiveness. So he and I and our co-host went to discuss the design doc immediately. So in internship at big companies, we are usually given just one project. Unlike at my previous companies where I would work like a full time and pick up tasks, or I mean, will be assigned tasks from the sprint. Here, I just had one project that I had to work on, and obviously, they're not going to leave the design for that on an intern, which are essentially toddlers, right? So that is why I was given the design document in a silver platter, explained by my host, and I was like, "What is this celebrity treatment?" I mean, when I joined ShareChat, I was said, here's the GitHub access, explore the code base. Here's the task, try to do it. I mean, I did take a lot of help, but here it was just incredible because everything was detailed out. My whole project was very detailed in the document. So that was a very good help, but also a lot of spoon feeding, in my opinion. I mean, they have to do it because interns don't have the time to work on design document, nor usually the capability, I can say, because again, they are toddlers essentially in the from the perspective of full-time people. So that's what happens in the first week, and it's very different from what happened at ShareChat, which is a unicorn, and CodeChef, which is a smaller startup. And there I was just started given tasks, so obviously small tasks, and I would do them and hence improve my code base understanding and work through stuff, right? Here it wasn't like that. Also, I was introduced to a lot of internal tools. So even in CodeChef, ShareChat, I was still using Git as our version control system, GitHub as the reposit or as a repository manager or whatever it is, and we had a Slack for communication. In Google, everything is Google owned. We have our own VCS, we have our own IDEs, we have our own, what is that called? That's awkward. Our own chatting system, which is Google Chat. It is horrible. I mean, it's not bad, it's not good. Slack is much better in my opinion. So yeah, a lot of I was learning about a lot of internal tools. I also learned about a lot of things that will be the prerequisites like Java. I mean, I already knew Java, so it wasn't a problem for me. I actually skipped Java. I did not learn anything. Yeah, I just looked at the code and just copy pasted. That worked out well. Okay, that always worked out well. Now, other than that, I did read about protobufs, although I already had an idea about them. PubSub, and we had a special database in my team, or whatever the product area I was in. So I was in the Google Cloud product area. So we had a database, a special type of database designed for us. So I had to study about that as well. So a lot of internal tools I studied about, which is knowledge down the drain essentially because I'm never going to use it outside Google. But again, I also grasp the ideas and the innovations that they have done there to improve my set of experience essentially. So now when I look at a database, I'll be able to think, could this database have been implemented in that sense? Right. So that was the first 1 and 2 weeks experience. I also, like mentioned, my host was pretty proactive. Uh, so he gave me a few simple changes I could make for the first and second week, and which I did. They were very small changes and actually laid out in the design document itself. But I did them, got that PR submitted. So the PR analog there in our custom VCS was what is that? What is that? Change list CL. Okay. So yeah. And meanwhile, at ShareChat and CodeChef, in the first 2 weeks, I had already done a few tasks which have gone to production. So that was a difference, right? Now, later on, obviously, my speed improved, right? I grew up from that toddler to the middle school guy. I don't know. So essentially, I grew up, right? My brain started developing and I started understanding the code. So the code base was just so massive. It was really hard to understand just even what is this directory structure. When I was in ShareChat, uh, I opened a microservice, right, which they asked me to explore, and I was able to understand that code base and the overarching structure in that day only. I learned about Solid and everything, and I was able to understand it in 1 day. I still don't know the Google's directory structure. Okay, I still don't. I mean, properly. It is just massive. So it is so big. I think there's a billion lines of code or something. It is insane. By the way, did I mention I was working in Java? Yeah, I was not having a good time about that. Okay, so that's what happened. Essentially, in the next 2 weeks, I kind of started picking up the pace, right? I understood like what mistakes I'm making in my CLs, my PRs, and what the code base is like. So essentially, the part of the code base I was working on, I got more familiar with it. Even though I had the design document, I still needed to be familiar with it. So that is what happened. And then the next month is when I started throwing out CLs left and right. I made a lot of CLs. Okay, I did a lot of la- um, code changes. I have like 3,000 plus line changes, so that was pretty good. So the bulk of the change lists I created were in my fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth week, and by then I was more or less done with all my CLs. Now I just needed to keep getting reviews and try to merge it, and that's essentially what happened. I kept getting more reviews. I did changes according to them, tried to merge them, had some problems, tried to merge them again, and all that crap no one cares about. I mean, that's pretty much all I did. And then I did actually talk with the product side of our team as well to get some more information that was missing in the design document. That's something extra I did. I also, since essentially I had finished the project, right? I also started working on some extra work that my host had decided we can do if we have extra time, and I did more or less that as well. Now, there were some blockers like permissions and some other resources I needed. So, due to them, there was a lot of time wasted, but that's what my last month was, last 3, 4 weeks. And yeah, so that was my internship experience. Now I talk from a entirely software, like what I coded and stuff, and there was not much the people interaction. I did have a lot of interaction with my host and co-host, but not with the other part of the team and Google in general, because online is not that good. I really wish I had an offline what internship, but can't have everything. I also had to give online exams, so I'm more or less thankful that internship was online, but who knows? Could have been better, could have been better. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty fun experience for me. And yeah, like I said, competitive programming didn't help at all. Like, at all. Obviously, it did not help. I already had a lot of development experience, so it was more or less expanding upon that. Also, competitive programming undeniably helped me to get in the job, but I don't think there are much teams that will be working on actually, you know, what algorithm side of problems. I did actually got to explore some confidential documents related to Carbon. If you don't know, Carbon is their C++ successor thingy that Google is making. So I actually went through a lot of documents that were explaining why Google did what, and so it was a pretty interesting thing for me that the Carbon was released, and all the public information aside, I had a lot of private information available as well. Now, I think most of the information I saw was already public, and the main private documents were still restricted. I did not ask for access to them because my internship was nearing its end. If I had more time, I would have definitely requested for access at least to, see a little bit more what's going on behind the scenes. But I guess that helps if I don't know too much because I suck at C++ anyways. What do you think I am? A master of coding at C++? That's not what my name suggests. Now it does it. Okay. So, hmm, that was essentially my experience. Whereas in ShareChat and CodeChef, I had done many small and mid-sized projects and deployed them. Right? They had gone to production. Now this did not go to production yet. Now it will go after all that QA testing is done and when we actually want to roll out, and it's a big process. So that is one thing I really wish that could happen fast, that the change I've done gets deployed. I see the impact. I did calculate some impact metrics, but I mean, I wanted to see, like actually it be rolled out, but that is not possible in an organization as big as Facebook. Wait, what? Did I work at Google? Wait. Where's my proof of work? My cap, my internship cap. I yes, I did not work at Facebook. I worked at Google, as you can see. Okay, I think my commentary today was pretty slow paced, but I hope it was all right. So yeah, that was what my internship was like, and I just want to drive one point home that like how much competitive programming actually contributed to this. I would say pretty much all is competitive programming's contribution. See, I nailed the interviews thanks to that, right? I got those interviews because I had the resume and connections. And I had that resume and connections because I had done competitive programming. And yeah, so a lot of it comes from competitive programming. Now, obviously, my dev experience at CodeChef and ShareChat really helped me to quickly code a lot of things. That is why in the last few weeks, I was not doing a lot of bulk stuff. I was mostly going around, getting permissions, working on a document, working on some SQL commands. That's the kind of work I was doing in the last few weeks. So that was all thanks to my what was that? Yeah, my development experience. Anyhow, so yeah, and I guess since I did my project as well as I did some extra stuff as well, that kind of guaranteed my pre-placement offer. Yes, I did got the pre-placement offer. Of course I got. My mentor was pretty great. My host and co-host were great. So yeah, I did get pre-placement offer. And what should you do if you want to get internship? I mean pre-placement offer at your internship. Well, focus. Do not procrastinate. 40 hours a week is so much time. Even considering all the meeting mess that software developers have to go through, that is so much time that you can do a lot. You can do more than expected. So yeah, that's what happened. I actually got the feedback that I did more than expected because actually we were trying to scavenge through some task even after the extra stuff that I had done, because I had done that as well, right? And I've had free time. So I was free to do more stuff, but we were not able to find something that I could do in the given time frame. Now, I guess it's not the smartest thing to do to, just quickly do everything. But I tried to not actually go outside my 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, whatever my working hours were. And I did never go outside that. But if you just work in that, but properly in the zone without being distracted by your Discord, WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, and every other social media app notification, you can do pretty good. I'm telling it from my own experience, obviously, because I had a lot of distractions from these notifications. Hmm. Yeah, one more thing, presentation. So you also have to give a presentation after in the last week of the internship, right? You have to fill your final evaluation, like how you think you have done, and then attach all the related documents and make a presentation which you present to the team. So that presentation also matters a lot, although most of it depends upon your host and co-host, but that presentation also matters a lot, especially in other companies where the process is different. This was just for Google. And the presentation I think was pretty decent for my lack of design sense. I did make a pretty good presentation. So yeah, and I was happy that I had a backend project, but I wish I got to work in C++. Java, I'm not really passionate about Java, so I mean, if I'm given work in Java, I can do it no problem, right? But I'd rather work in C++ because that's more interesting to me. Because have you read the name of this channel? You haven't. So yeah, that was my experience. Hope you found this useful. If you didn't, that's fine. If you did, that's great. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you never. I'm kidding.